But what was your relationship like with Shawn Michaels? Is he traveling back and forth from America to the UK for all these UK tapings?
Yeah, he was. He would cut like they would fly over. So they'd have a group, especially with the coaches as well, that would come over.
Yeah.
But then when COVID happened, there was some restrictions. So what they ended up doing was they set up like a gorilla in Orlando. So it'd be kind of like through our gorilla as well. So it was all connected,
Hmm.
which was really cool. But yeah, Sean, like the way he talks about NXT UK, it was like his baby, and he was so invested in everyone. I had a great relationship with him, and he very much took the time, like from my just judging by my experience, like to get to know me and stuff. Like I remember we had like about a 1 hour uh, Zoom conversation. It was just like he just wanted to get to know me and stuff, which was really cool. And he just after all the matches, he'd give you like straight up feedback if it how it was and stuff. And then Matt Bloom's another guy in particular as well that he would give you watch your matches back and give you like advice on what to do and everything. So the knowledge I got from getting better and like learning from these guys is like second to none because these guys are like have been everywhere and have done it. It's like so getting to learn from those guys is what's gonna as long as your ears are open and you're willing to take that because I feel like a lot of not so much in the performance center but even going out on independent shows now for some reason I don't there's a lot of guys that don't want to take criticism. They
Mm.
kind of feel like that it's a bad thing. Which like if I have a match now and I asked someone to watch it, and then I go back and I was like, "How was it?" And they're like, "Oh, yeah, it was a good match," and that was it. Like I'm bummed because I want something that like I want to work on, or be like, "Oh, did you notice something that I should have done differently?" or something like that. Like that's how you're going to get better. And I remember um, William Regal was telling me and his son Charlie that Daniel Bryan still comes up to him for feedback. And then William Regal's like, "What do you want me to tell you? Like, you're like, I can't really critique you anymore." And then, but someone like Bryan is still going and asking for feedback, and he's like arguably one of the best right now. So
Yeah.
I feel like to get better and to keep getting better, and what sets you apart from the crowd is you got to be open to that to learn. I feel like a lot of people take that as like a dig, which it's not, but it definitely separates people that are probably going to make it, and then the ones that don't, I guess, at the end of the day.
Very interesting you bring up William Regal because right now his name is very hot topic in wrestling because of his involvement with AEW, and it seems like he's leaving AEW in about as we record this in about 2 hours. Tony Khan's gonna do a press conference I'll be on where he's gonna announce what's up with William Regal, where is he, what's up, is he staying, is he going, and then everyone and their mother has written an article saying William Regal is coming back to the WWE because Triple H is now in charge and they're gonna put the band back together as people would say. But the one critique people kept bringing up was William Regal. People would say like, "Oh well, he'd go up to say a wrestler like Hangman Page and try to give him advice, and they'd be like, I don't listen to advice from veterans. Like, oh, it's not like you're going to be part of today's world, so I don't want to hear your old, the old man advice. Like, don't tell me what to do. I know what I'm doing. So you're bringing up William Regal is obviously giving advice to you, and hopefully he does again in the WWE with you involved as well. So do you feel like people were not listening to William Regal and other companies, and they were listening to in the WWE?
I can't really comment on it because like obviously you hear a lot of things on the dirt sheets and stuff of
Right.
what's being said, right? So I can't judging. I'm not really sure what's going on behind the scenes at AEW or anything like that. In terms of that, so just judging by my experience when I've been around and William Regal's been given advice, everyone's just taking it all in. He's someone that the whole room goes quiet and then you listen to what he says because some of the stuff that he's told me has been the best pieces of advice like he's given me throughout like over my whole career. Like when I've had a moment with him and he spoke to me or even talked to me about something, like it's really beneficial for me. And I kind of look at it, if there's anyone that kind of is like not wanting to learn from the people that did it before us, like how I don't really understand that at all because how do you get better and how do you progress yourself, because these guys are the ones that did it before. Yeah, the styles changed a little bit, but the knowledge that these guys have is what's gonna potentially get you to be a WWE champion one day, or be an IC champion, or you know whatever your role is within the company. So I feel like it's very beneficial to learn from those people, and even if respect aside, like they just have so much knowledge, and even people that have been to certain places, have been signed to certain places, like even if you talk to them about their experiences and learn from that, it's like that's the biggest thing where I feel like what's gonna set people aside. But yeah, just to comment on that, I'm not really sure. It's very surprising for you to say that. So I, like, even for me to hear it, because I just can't, like, for me it's just like I don't believe that would be real. Like, why would you
Right.
not listen to him, right? So
And we don't
yeah,
know. That's why I'm saying, like, I don't
yeah.
I don't know either. These are just what I read online as well. So I wanted your perspective because obviously you did work with William Regal. Obviously he did give you advice, and clearly from what you're saying is you listened to his advice. And again,
100%.
I don't know what's true and what's not true on the internet because nobody knows. You read one article, it could tell you black and blue, the next one's red and yellow. But yet I think what is happening is there's a generation of wrestlers that you even kind of brought up on the independents that are not willing to get critiqued because they think they already know everything. But nobody knows everything. Obviously, even William Regal's learning every day something new. I talked to Wheeler Yuta the other day, and I asked him about William Regal advice, and he said William Yuta used to sit backstage with his hands in his pocket. And so William Regal walked by and did this to him and was like, see, just killed you. Always be ready. Always be prepared. Your hands in your pockets. I just could have taken you down instantly because your hands are in your pockets. And I was like, holy shit. Like, he's teaching you just while you're chilling out in the hallway, talking to your friends. So, he's not just teaching you in the ring, he's teaching you about life in general. Keep your hands out of your pockets
Do you know,
because,
it's another thing why too, like, where I feel like if you get signed too young, you don't have, even like you, it's funny you saying life experiences, like if you don't have the life experience, small things will kind of will get you into trouble eventually down the line, because you haven't had that experience to learn from your mistakes. So when you're thrown in the company you want to be in, and then you haven't learned any of this stuff yet, it really, you can get into trouble even if you're not looking for it. So I feel like another thing as well, like I feel like age is very important for wrestling. I feel like if you get in too young, I feel like it's just like for me, it's like I feel like it's just very, you're not really like an adult, or had those experiences yet. I feel like when you kind of in your mid 20s or something, I feel like that's an ideal age to then be like, boom, okay, someone needs to pick you up now. But I
right.
feel like if it's too early, it can be too much, because then it causes a lot of these guys to get like attitude problems, which isn't good.
No, and there's certain wrestlers. You read stories like I've never talked to Teddy Hart. I've never met Teddy Hart, but all I hear is stories, and they're not very good stories. And it's because of maybe your last name thought you could get you somewhere, and that's all you're going to ride on, or you thought you could do something. I don't know Teddy Hart, but all I know is the stories I read are not good. And that's just what I read about that. So with wrestlers like yourself, someone getting in too young, someone getting in too old, you might think you know everything, but you don't know everything. Everyone's learning every day. The fact that you brought up Bryan Danielson, whatever you want to call him still asking advice to William Regal is incredible. Like that's a story I hope everyone from this interview, I hope people take a lot of advice from what you said today, but I really hope people hear that and it hits them over the head as Daniel friggin' Bryan managing WrestleMania 30, defeating Triple H, Randy Orton, and Batista in one goddamn night, holding both belts, still asking William Regal for advice in today's world. And he's married to a Bella twin. So good for him.